Oh my gosh. It was a crazy day for Z Classic holders, and we all knew it was going to happen. Hi, this is Ty. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do for videos like this and more to come in the future. I'm going to be discussing about the events happening before the Bitcoin private snapshot, what happened during the snapshot with each exchange, what I did before the snapshot, and what my plan is to do with my Bitcoin private coins and my Z Classic coins. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. First, let's talk about what happened. I think everybody was anticipating Bittrex to support the fork. The only exchanges that were supporting it was Coin Exchange and TradeSatoshi. These are very low-grade exchanges that cannot handle a lot of volume. I knew there was going to be problems with that. Everybody anticipated Bittrex to be supporting it, and how Bittrex handled it, I think, was extremely unprofessional. So let's look at the things that stand out to me about Bittrex. With the Twitter, I think it was kind of trolling. I don't know. I haven't looked into this coin, so if you're in this coin, let me know. But everybody is begging them on Twitter to list Bitcoin private. And so obviously, this is what the whole talk is about. But they say, hey, we're going to list BCPT, which surprisingly, not very surprisingly, pumped right before the snapshot. I think a lot of people were confused that thinking this was Bitcoin private. Like I said, I can't say much because I don't know anything about this coin. I haven't looked at it. This was kind of frustrating and unprofessional and made a lot of confusion in the marketplace. The next thing they posted was saying that if Bittrex is going to support the fork, they're going to say this well beforehand, which was not the case. Everybody knows that Bittrex, the night before, when America was sleeping, announced that they will support the fork. Now, they were going to do their own snapshot and try the best they can to credit everybody Bitcoin private. We will see if this happens. But to post something like this a week before and say, hey, if we announce the fork, we're going to say beforehand. So, of course, everybody's thinking for sure that they're not going to support it. And Bittrex was a big player, obviously, because all of the volume with Z Classic was happening on Bittrex, which left everybody to withdraw their Z Classic from Bittrex into Electrum wallet or some kind of wallet. Here's why I think they did what they did. Because Bittrex has a ton of volume, and Bittrex makes so much money. And to overload their systems, they knew it was going to be overloaded. Look what happened when Bitcoin Cash got listed on Coinbase. Their whole system froze up. So they knew it was going to overload their system, and they wanted to get as much Z Classic off of their exchange as possible. And so once all of that Z Classic, or a lot of the Z Classic, was off the exchange, they announced the night before that they will support the fork, but withdrawals and deposits would be locked. So you were not able to withdraw your Z Classic or deposit any Z Classic into Bittrex. I think this was just really unprofessional, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to trade on Bittrex, but I'm definitely holding a grudge, and they really lost a lot of faith in me with this. In that announcement as well, they did say that they may or may not list Bitcoin private. I don't know if they will, but if they don't, they will have a wallet for Bitcoin private that will allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin private from the exchange and then do it to an exchange that supports Bitcoin private, and you can trade there. So this was the big elephant in the room with Bittrex. A lot of people are really ticked off. You can just look at Twitter and see how many people are ticked off. The next thing I want to go to is the AMA. The night before the snapshot, the Bitcoin private team did an AMA on Reddit. I highlighted some of the things that I thought were pretty interesting, but let's take a look. The first one is thoughts on miners saying the reward is too low. They talk about this is going to be the lowest inflationary mineable coin of all time. However, we may in the future remove unclaimed coins from circulation. They did say in the white paper they may remove unclaimed coins from circulation at 0.14%. I kind of hope they do, because I almost guarantee you over half of the coins are going to be unclaimed. Everybody was buying Z Classic to get into this fork, but the thing is Z Classic only was about 3 million of the Bitcoin private coins. Bitcoin is the big number, about 16 million. Bitcoin holders, on Coinbase and all of these holders, a lot of them just probably do not care about this. This is a small community compared to Bitcoin. So I guarantee a lot of these coins will not be claimed. I hope they do start burning these coins because, hey, it just means less coins in circulation, which makes, if you're holding Bitcoin private, it'll make the value go up. We will see if they do this or not. I hope they do. So they will burn 0.14% every day in a period of 2 years, and then that should burn all of the coins, the unclaimed coins. So if they do decide that, you do need to make sure and claim your coins if you haven't already. So let's see what happened at the snapshot. Of course, we knew it was going to dump. I told you in my video, I was 100% sure that this thing was going to dump. Everybody knew it was going to dump. This was no surprise. A lot of people were like, oh, Z Classic people, they got, screwed. But people weren't buying Z Classic to have Z Classic. So that's the first question and answer that stood out to me. The next one is, what are your thoughts on the future of Z Classic project? As my old video stated that I'm going to link in the description, I told you that they're probably going to abandon this. Rhett, the founder, he does a lot of projects and he leaves a lot of projects behind. I hope he stays with this one. But I think a lot of people knew that he was probably not going to really work on Z Classic because this is Bitcoin private now. This is what he's going to do. So he said, we are going to continue keeping our ZCL network support, Nodes Explorer, etc. alive until further notice. Otherwise, we have no development plans for ZCL. It is a community coin and the community can make pull requests if they want to continue development. All existing Z Classic software will remain on Z Classic GitHub repo. So this may turn into something, but probably not. It's going to still continue. Hopefully there'll be a couple miners to be able to transfer coins. But the thing with Z Classic is it's not going to be worth really anything because there's not going to be any development with it. I told you in my previous video as well that if Z Classic goes under $1, I might just pick some up because there's already been, now this will be the second fork of Z Classic, and you never know, there might be another fork. If you can get it under $1 and it goes up to $100, that's a steal. This is the biggest one that I'm going to talk about a little bit. Has any of the ZCL from the donation pool been cashed out? Those of you that don't know, the Z Classic miners, they had a donation pool where they can mine Z Classic, give it to Bitcoin private, and then after the fork, they will be rewarded at whatever ratio Bitcoin private. They were assuming that there would be about 50,000 Z Classic mined, but looking at the answer, it looks like that it's going to be a lot less. It says approximately 13,000 was converted to Bitcoin in a manner so that it was not to affect the market, meaning they didn't dump it all, they just slowly sold it all for Bitcoin. Some of this was done to pay for the various things we could only use Bitcoin for. We received around 150 Bitcoin for this and 90 Bitcoin is left. We currently have around 10,400 ZCL, not including pending blocks right now. The spent funds were used on exchanges, our NYC conference, developer bounties, maintaining the network, etc. Here's a couple things. The first thing is, so only about 24,000 was mined and they anticipated 50,000. That's not a very good thing. And I did not really factor in them dumping the Z Classic. I completely understand why they did, but I didn't really factor them dumping it in. That affected the market. I think it could have gone up a lot more if they didn't dump all that Z Classic, because that's a lot of Z Classic to dump onto the market. The next thing is they have spent about 60 of the 150 Bitcoins with a remaining of 90 Bitcoins left. So they have spent about $600,000 right now in development and then getting on exchanges. And that's what a lot of people were frustrated. And during this AMA, the price was just tanking. And so they were like, okay, $600,000 and Bittrex has not announced this, or what is going on? The thing about this is, probably the Bitcoin private, Rhett, and everybody knew that Bittrex was going to support it. I just think they did this in a completely unprofessional and wrong way. Tell me what you think. Could they have done this better? So they have spent $600,000. I do think there is a good shot that we will see Binance list this. They've already paid them. I don't see why they wouldn't list Bitcoin private. One thing you've got to realize is, why would Binance list the fork or support the fork beforehand? They didn't hold Z Classic, so they would have to add Z Classic to their exchange and then support the fork after that. So they would really be adding 2 additional coins. I didn't think Binance would list this. Now, good news though is KuCoin will be listing Bitcoin private. That is good news. And if you have Bitcoin on KuCoin, I do believe that you will get Bitcoin private at a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, now let's talk about the exchanges and what happened. Let's go back to CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap, we see the dump, and then right now, currently, the price for, and we'll go to each exchange and talk about each exchange. Here's the price for each coin. The thing about it is, it's a lot on Bittrex because there's no deposits or withdrawals on Bittrex. I'm surprised people are actually buying it. I don't know. I'm not real sure why it's not going down towards similar levels on the other exchanges, because once they open the wallets up, they know it's going to even out between all of the exchanges. It always does. So let's go to Bittrex and see what happened. The thing with Bittrex is they said they would support the fork for Z Classic. If you have Bitcoin on Bittrex, they are not going to give you Bitcoin private. I don't know what they're going to do with the Bitcoin private, because technically they will be able to access a lot of Bitcoin private, because I'm sure there's a lot of Bitcoin on Bittrex. So we can see, obviously, during the fork, it dumped. Here's the thing, though, is it dumped to here, and it actually went up a little bit. And for a while, it went up to $38. Really, the real winners out of this whole fork is the people that held their Z Classic on Bittrex. That is, if Bittrex is going to make sure and give everybody Bitcoin private. So I think the real winners are the people that have Z Classic on Bittrex. But the thing is it was a big risk to keep your Z Classic on Bittrex the night before. There was withdrawals that were taking 3 to 5 hours because so much Z Classic was being moved. And so I didn't want to take that risk and keep my Z Classic on Bittrex in case it took, 12 to 15 hours to transfer the Z Classic. And Bittrex did not support the fork, which I didn't think they would at all. The next one let's talk about is TradeSatoshi. What happened with TradeSatoshi? That's what happened. Of course, that's what was going to happen. Everybody should have known. TradeSatoshi cannot handle this amount of volume. I would have been surprising if Bittrex would have been able to handle this amount of volume. I even tweeted the day before, anybody want to bet some BTC that TradeSatoshi freezes up on the ZCL market after the BTCP snapshot? I called it. I knew that's nothing special. A lot of people knew. If you're not following me on Twitter, it'd be great if you did. I'm not super active on it. I need to get better at it, but you can follow me and I'll tweet every now and then. Anyways, this is what's going on with TradeSatoshi. It's been over 6 hours since the snapshot and we still can't get in. We can't trade. And what happened with it, I wish I could show you a visual. I should have taken some snapshots during when it happened. TradeSatoshi just dumped like crazy. It was selling for a decent amount of time, like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for like $4, while Bittrex was selling it at $38. It was really crazy. The lowest low was someone actually picked up some Z Classic for like $2. I put a lot of limit orders really low in hopes to buy just a fat finger sell or something like that. So I put a ton of low ball limit buys just in case it dumped really fast, or, just in case it dumped or someone did a fat finger. And I put it in at like $2 and under, but I put a whole bunch in just hoping that it would get triggered. I didn't think it would, and it didn't. But if you were on TradeSatoshi, you may have picked up some Z Classic for really cheap and you could have resold it. Here's what I did, kind of big mistake. I didn't have any Bitcoin on TradeSatoshi because I made a TradeSatoshi account just for this. So I transferred some Bitcoin to TradeSatoshi because it was so cheap. And my idea was to buy really cheap Z Classic and then transfer it out and then sell it on Bittrex or Cryptopia. I can't get into TradeSatoshi and my Bitcoin never got confirmed. It was in TradeSatoshi but still as unconfirmed. couldn't really do much about it. Hopefully this exchange comes back online so people can do something with their Z Classic. The next one is Cryptopia. Cryptopia was pretty interesting and the prices have averaged out. It wasn't supporting the fork to my knowledge, but there was a decent amount of Z Classic on it. Cryptopia was actually $48 for Z Classic. And then everybody with the Electrum wallet was rushing their orders into Cryptopia trying to sell their Z Classic. And as soon as that Z Classic went through, it started dumping to a normal level. And so I had a friend that had it on Electrum wallet, and then I think he was one of the first ones along with everybody else. As soon as he got confirmed, probably with all the other Z Classic, it got dumped before he could sell it at like $40, $48. So Cryptopia, I guess, I don't know. I don't think you're going to get your Bitcoin private, but you sold it for $48. I think that's kind of a lose because you won't get your Bitcoin private. You may, I don't know. Here's what I did, which my mistake number 2. The TradeSatoshi website was on and off. I transferred my Z Classic to Cryptopia in hopes to sell it for a decent price. Bad mistake 2. I'm still waiting for my Z Classic to get transferred to Cryptopia, and they did make an announcement right here and basically just saying that there has been a lack of miners, obviously because people aren't mining because the price went down. With the lack of miners and all of the transfers, that big mix is making a ton of unconfirmed deposits. A lot of Z Classic is still waiting to be deposited on Cryptopia. Once that happens, the price will probably go down quite a bit more. Okay, so what did I do before the snapshot? Let me show you. Let's go to the coin market cap of the price. Once Bittrex made that tweet saying that they would let us know way beforehand on a fork and make that announcement, I lost a lot of confidence. I thought the price would continue to go down. I was thinking about $100, maybe even less. And so for me, it wasn't worth the risk. I ended up selling before the weekend. I thought for sure during the weekend it would go down more. I expected Bittrex to make an announcement of the fork and for the price to continue to go up, but we all know that didn't happen. So since they didn't make the announcement, I ended up selling for about $150, which was a tiny profit of the price I got in at. Not much though, really was kind of a break even. After I sold, I was completely out. After the weekend, the price completely tanked. It went down to a low of about $70. And at that price, I thought it was too good to be true because I'm going to get Bitcoin private. And I ended up getting back in for around the $75 to $80 mark, which I still think is a great deal on it. I bought that in and then the price went up above $100. The night before Bittrex announces and the price went up to $130. I thought about selling then. I ended up not doing, just kind of didn't want to deal with it, but that would have been a good price to sell and then get back in. My thought is at $75, $80, if I can sell at $75, I know probably for sure Bitcoin private should be worth over $100. That is a decent profit, but we'll see once the market dictates what Bitcoin private is worth. Now, buying Bitcoin private for $75 is a pretty good deal. And plus, I thought I could sell Z Classic anywhere from $10 to $20, maybe $30. If I had on Bittrex, I would be able to sell it for $30, which I don't know. I still have my Z Classic. I haven't sold it yet. If I can get $10 on it, $15, I'll probably sell it. I probably see Z Classic go down to, $3, $4 the next couple weeks, but I don't know. I'm not in a huge rush to sell it, but I probably want to get rid of it. People are waiting to get rid of Z Classic. The development has abandoned the project. I don't see anything happening with it. I think the price will continue to go down. It happened with Zencash. Just look at previous history. Well, that's where I am. I've got Z Classic and waiting on Bitcoin private. Hopefully Bitcoin private comes out of the market over $100. We'll see if it gets dumped. I think it will get dumped right away and then have a small pump and then go down a little bit more. And then coming the next 2 to 3 months, it could do pretty well. I do think Bitcoin private has a good chance of being priced at over $150 to $200. And here's why. Number one is you've got to realize a lot of people are not going to claim Bitcoin private. And so if they especially do that burn, then it will just continue to increase once they burn those tokens and there's less coins in circulation. Here's how we need to value it. You need to value it on previous forks, Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is $1,200 a coin, where Bitcoin Gold is about $115 a coin. Now keep in mind, Bitcoin Gold is going to have a lower circulating supply than Bitcoin Private. Factoring that in, if Bitcoin Private had the same market cap as Bitcoin Gold, then it'll be about $100 a coin. I think that is almost a no-brainer because Bitcoin Gold, I never saw any support for it. I don't know anybody that owns it, and there's just nothing to it. And so I think we can expect Bitcoin Private to have a higher market cap than Bitcoin Gold. At least I hope so in the long run. That's just my opinion. If you want to compare it to other coins, you can compare it to Dash or Monero. Dash is about $600 a coin, where Monero is about $250 a coin. Now keep in mind, they both have lower circulating supplies than what Bitcoin Private's going to be. But if you want to compare it to two other coins, you can compare it to that as well. I think it is fairly safe to say it'll be over $100 a coin. I compare that to Bitcoin Gold. Now, obviously, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Tell me what you think. What do you think the price is going to be after the fork? Do you have Z Classic? Do you plan on holding on Z Classic? Where do you think Bitcoin Private is going to be? Please like and comment. I always try and get back to comments, and please subscribe. I'll do more videos like this in the future. I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully you got some information out of this. Thank you.